good morning. I'm Brian Reagan, and this is
Tyler Kelly.
And we welcome you to Mornings with Brian and Tyler. And today we are in 2 Samuel chapters 11 and 12. That is part of our unified reading as a church. And this is, of course, the events of David, Bathsheba, Uriah, and Joab. And I want to focus a little bit more about Joab and Uriah than we do on David and Bathsheba. But just kind of bear in mind that from the start of chapter 11 to the end of chapter 12 is approximately 2 years' time that's covered. And so, Tyler, if you don't mind going ahead and read verse 1.
It happened in the spring of the year, at the time when kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the people of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David remained in Jerusalem.
And so David stays in town instead of going with his men. This is what lays the groundwork, if you will, for the trouble. And Uriah is a good man, tremendous. He's a Hittite, so he's technically a Gentile, but he is a Gentile of tremendous character, in contrast to David in this event. And Tyler, if you don't mind, read verse 9 through 11.
But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and did not go down to his house. So when they told David, saying, Uriah did not go down to his house, David said to Uriah, Did you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to David, The ark in Israel and Judah are dwelling in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go to my house to eat and drink and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your soul lives, I will not do this thing.
All right. And so I want you to look at Uriah's concern. The ark is in a tent on the field of battle. Israel and Judah. You say, wait a second, I thought there was United Kingdom. Remember, the northern 10 tribes.
I thought it was 11 because I thought Benjamin was part of
Yeah, well,
Israel.
technically Benjamin too, yeah. That they all went the side of Saul. And so the division was already there. Now, David kept it united under his reign, but the division was already there. And I would say to you, the division had been there for a long time already. And so Uriah's concern is for the Ark of the Covenant. His concern is for all of the men in the field. That should tell you Uriah, even though he was a Gentile, had a great respect and understanding for Jehovah God. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, Uriah's judgment, hey, if my guys can't be with their wives, I ain't going to be with my wife. I'm going to be like my men. Even though I'm back here in the capital city, I'm going to be this way. And so Uriah, tremendous individual. Verse 14, in the morning it happened, David wrote a letter to Joab, sent it by the hand of Uriah. Uriah is going to be the man who carries the message of the plan that David has to kill him. How good a man was Uriah? Even as a top general, he didn't look at the note that was written to Joab. The other thing I want you to see about this is people in Bible times, they did read and write. You hear people, oh, they were an ignorant people that couldn't read. Well, why would David have written a letter to Joab? Joab was literate. David was literate. Every indication is, most of these people were literate. All right? Don't let the world tell you that Bible people were stupid, because frankly, they weren't. They made bad choices. Oh, wait, just like us. But they had the ability to read and understand. And Tyler, why don't you read verse 15 for us?
And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retreat from him, that he may be struck down and die.
And so it happens that Joab did that. Verse 16, 17. Go ahead and read all the way down through 19.
And so it was while Joab besieged the city that he assigned Uriah to a place where he knew there were valiant men. Then the men of the city came out and fought with Joab, and some of the people of the servants of David fell, and Uriah the Hittite died also. And then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messengers, saying, when you have finished telling the matters of the word of the king, if it happens the king's wrath rises, and he says to you, why did you approach so near to the city when you fought, and did you know that they would shoot from the wall?
And so he goes on ahead, and Joab covers the messenger, verse 22. So the messenger went and came to David and told Joab. The messenger said to David, and he told him all that. But I want you to see something. Uriah didn't just go down easy peasy. As everybody pulls back, and Uriah stays in the fight. And it takes a lot to take Uriah down. David's power was built on the mighty men like Joab and Uriah. And as we continue on, read the last sentence of verse 27, Tyler.
But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord.
Now, a lot of people, know everything. The Bathsheba thing, the Uriah trying to get him drunk, trying to get him killing him, involving people in conspiracy and accomplice to murder, and. All right? And so we skip over to chapter 12 and verse 26 through 31. If you don't mind, read those real quick for us, Tyler.
Now Joab fought against Rabbah of the people of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city's water supply. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. So David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah, fought against it, and took it. Then he took their king's crown from his head. Its weight was a talent of gold with precious stones, and it was set on David's head. Also he brought out the spoil of the city in great abundance. And so he brought out the people who were in it and put them to work with saws and iron picks and iron axes and made them cross over to the brickworks. And he did to all the cities of the people of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem.
All right, so these Ammonites, remember Ammonites and Moabites, they're the descendants of Lot. And I want you to see something, though, about Joab's character. Joab gets a bad rap, and I believe unjustly so, because you have a lot of Bible teachers and a lot of Bible commentators that they've never lived in life-death situations where people trust you and you trust them, and you both go into situations where you may die. You might not come back out in the next 10 minutes. And you've committed your lives to each other and trusted that to each other. Joab was ridiculously loyal to keeping David strong as a king. The fact that Joab sends messengers and says, David, you and some of the others need to get out here. I'm about ready to take this thing. And if I take it and you're not here, I'm going to get all the praise, the glory, and the honor. You need to get out here. You need to do your job as a king and show up today. Joab was the only guy in David's life that consistently stood up to David to try and get David to do what he needed to do as a king. He said, then why did he participate in the thing with Uriah? Because Joab's a good general. If the king thinks one of the other top generals or colonels needs to go down, then there's a reason why. And Joab knows enough on that for how a kingdom functions, Joab has to go on ahead and kill Uriah, because it secures something for David. And so as you read through these, as we've said before, don't miss the interplay of the humanity, because you get caught up in, well, David and Bathsheba and the dead baby and Solomon, and no, catch the subtle nuances of what's going on in human behavior. Tyler, do you have some thoughts on this?
No, sir.
The stuff of life is in 1st and 2nd Samuel. And as you start this week, as you start this day, ask yourself, is there anything that you have as much loyalty to as Joab had to David? I'm Brian Reagan, this is
Tyler Kelly.
and we bid you
Have a good rest of your day.
amen.